Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rose. And in this one, today is the big day that a Paul Buchanan will know whether or not the constituted court will refer his application against the September 3rd, 2025 elections between him and Anju Holness, whether or not it will be sent straight to the election court. But in the meantime, please to watch a recap of the sequence of all that transpired leading up to him getting a judicial review, and then, him basically letting the whole court know of these 5 affidavits to back up his case. Please stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Remember also, as soon as the verdict is dropped, I will come back with another video. So for those who are, wanting to catch up from start to finish, here's a whole recap of everything that transpired from September 3rd. Go straight back. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Anju Holness was prevented from going inside of the polling station, so he sent all the police in the region to come lock down the stations. Vote is at a pause right now at the Pentecostal Basic School on Beatrice and High Park Road. It's one piece of pandemonium.
According to the PNP candidate for West Central St. Anju, Paul Buchanan, the preliminary results bear no resemblance to the history and data of the constituency.
This constituency has 13,400 voters, and never before has the Mullines division recorded the numbers we were seeing in any general election.
Mr. Buchanan is alleging the irregularities were concentrated at the polling stations in areas considered People's National Party strongholds.
At DuPont in particular, the conflict in terms of the outturn or the outcome and the numbers, the preliminary numbers, could not be supported.
At the Taylor Basic School, the Mall Road cluster, more irregularities, he claims.
Again, there we had significant numbers, so much so that after a visit by Anju Holness yesterday, voting was ordered stop, inexplicable.
He says his team is also investigating the strange removal of several boxes.
Is that there were some boxes over Seaward Drive or the Seaward School cluster that went to the polling station long after everywhere else in Jamaica, despite the fact that it was about 300 yards away or 300 meters away between Seaward School and the counting center. And when my attorney asked for an explanation, they said that the responsible person was sick. Now, we'll have to go into that as far as the sickness is concerned, or who was the responsible person, whether as a presiding officer. So the question will be asked. Again, at Drews Avenue, where another of our strong cluster of boxes, the pickup people took a route which is inexplicable. Instead of going straight from Mullines, coming up Mullines and go straight through to Bay Farm and Waltham to the counting center, they went through a hazardous path, a perilous path, down Olympic, to drop off 2 policewomen. And we have witnesses of all these things. And through a throng of JLP, crowd and all of that, to 3 Mile and then up.
Mr. Buchanan is calling for a thorough investigation, but says he has not officially reported the matter to the EOJ as he's gathering evidence.
On the day of the election, and you see all of what went down. Now, with the People's National Party awaiting a constitutional verdict as it relates to the West Central St. Andrew seat, where the candidate for the People's National Party, Paul Buchanan, ran against Anju Holness. The EOJ declared Anju Holness as the winner amidst allegations and facts, video evidence, persons talking of voter suppression, intimidation, and a whole barrage of irregularities. We've seen Paul Buchanan basically filing an application in the courts. We're waiting 2 weeks to get a response, whether or not the court will send same to the election court. But nevertheless, we've seen Paul Buchanan basically wanting a rerun of the constituency, and he has had several interviews on several platforms. But this one stood out. I'm just coming across an interview with him and Julian and some of the political victimization that he has underwent since he showed up to run against Anju Holness is incomparable. And so we're seeing Keisha Hale basically paraphrase some of what he said in that interview. And she said the level of victimization this candidate Paul Buchanan received in modern-day Jamaican politics was unprecedented. His new Prado, I came across a video, it says his 2021 Prado was stolen without a trace. 2 cars stolen. Rent car had a block thrown in the windshield screen. All his valuables, including 10 months of electoral papers and books, stolen. Gunmen broke into his home, held him at gunpoint, robbed him of cash, his gun and other valuables. He was rejected on grounds that he did not provide enough evidence to fill Section 37E of the Election Act. Section 37E reads, the constituted authority may, subject to Section 38, apply to the election court for the voiding of taking of a poll on one or more of the following grounds: that there is an upsurge in violence or any irregularity during election day in one or more polling stations or polling divisions or in any electoral division or constituency, which would lead to a substantial distortion or subversion of the process of free and fair election. Now, a Paul Buchanan challenging the verdict of the constituted court as it relates to the September 3rd general election, seeking now a judicial review of same. Paul Buchanan was granted judicial review for November 18, 2025. It's also alleged, according to the Observer, that during a case management hearing today, the court described the matter as serious and unprecedented, given that it directly involves the actions of the constituted authority. The presiding judge ordered that legal documents be served on Anju Holness, the Jamaica Labour Party's candidate for the constituency, and on the Attorney General, who will represent constituted authority in the proceedings. And now he is set to get some form of judgment on December 8th from Justice Sonia Wint Blair, following that judicial review November 18. He is seeking several orders through his attorney Hugh Wildman. These include declarations that the authorities' refusal to act on his complaints was unlawful, irrational, and void, an order of certiorari to overturn the ruling, and an order of mandamus directing the authority to refer the matter to the election court. And so to back up a Paul Buchanan's claim, there were 5 affidavits that were filed. In the first one, there's a Marsha Powell, a cluster manager at Seward Primary School, alleged that there were instances of double voting. She said she saw a presiding officer issue a second ballot to electors after they claimed that the first was spoiled, even though the first ballot had already been placed in the box. She claimed that the atmosphere at the Seward Primary Cluster was not one free from fear, and that PNP indoor and outdoor agents were harassed and threatened. She also added that overcrowding by JLP supporters made it unsafe for non-JLP voters and mentioned that the presiding officer was unable to control the polling station, leading to overcrowding, threats, and fearful environment. Powell also alleged that at one point there was a brawl involving the presiding officer, a JLP indoor agent, and the police. She said a policeman monitoring the gate left at 5 p.m., after which persons were allowed to enter the compound as they pleased. And that unauthorized men climbed over the wall and invaded the polling station, causing chaos and making her fear for her safety. Counting stopped due to the chaos, and that ballot boxes were left unattended and unaccounted for. The boxes arrived at the counting center after 10 p.m., Powell alleged, 5 hours after polls closed. In the second affidavit, Everton Sands, a driver for polling divisions 1 to 4, claimed that the police escorting the ballot boxes for the Drewsland Avenue cluster deviated from the approved courier route, driving through JLP-dominated and hostile crowds. The approved route was reportedly Washington Boulevard to Malines Road to Seward Avenue to Bay Farm Road to the Walton Park Counting Center. Sands claimed to have lost sight of the vehicle transporting the boxes along Olympic Way for 3 to 5 minutes. A third affidavit from Dr. Warren Blake, campaign advisor to Buchanan, claimed that at several locations, including Olympic Gardens Health Center and Seward Primary, he observed the large, disorderly crowds of JLP supporters making noise, drinking, playing loud music, and behaving in boisterous manner. Now, Warren Blake was one who ran against Holness back in 1997. And you know how that did play out. Same irregularities, and Blake had basically, challenged him in the court, and then Blake got a rerun of the entire constituency and ended up being victorious over Anju Holness. So there's always been some issues with this constituency since Anju Holness took over. However, Blake said he believed that the noise, crowds, and general atmosphere would have discouraged non-JLP voters, leading to a substantial distortion and or a subversion of the process of free and fair election. Indoor agent Itisha Johnson, in another affidavit, said conditions inside her polling division were chaotic and noisy, with line-jumping arguments and voters leaving without casting ballots. She recounted seeing JLP supporters wearing black ski masks as she exited the compound, leaving her frightened. Avia Miles, another indoor agent at Seward Primary School, claimed that supervised voting occurred. She said she saw a voter who had returned from the voting booth with their ballot open and blank. The presiding officer told him to mark the ballot and went behind the voting booth with the voter to show him what to do, which happened more than once. The officer then assisted other voters and placed their ballots in the box, she alleged. Miles also alleged that the electronic voter identification system, EVIS, malfunctioned on the day, and so she was unable to verify the identity of people who did not have their voter identification cards but were on the voters list. The woman also alleged that during counting, the presiding officer indicating that she was feeling ill and left without returning. Miles said she was asked to count ballots for a polling division even though the counting for the previous division was not done properly. She also claimed that she was not allowed to put her sticker on the ballot box and that a JLP sticker was put on instead. The 5 affidavits were submitted along with Buchanan's as part of the evidence in the matter now before the Supreme Court. So ABR family and viewers, in the court of public opinion, and we all of them, counts them from the affidavits and tell me what you think in the comment section. In the meantime, remember to leave a like on the video.